Everyone, thanks for checking out the podcast. Steve Buzza here, Buzz About Golf. It's me on my own, which can only mean one thing. I have played another event. This is a quick round recap. And what can you learn from my round? So, good news. The last one I did, and it's still late. It's about 10 o'clock. I think last time I did one at like 11 at night. I had come right at the very bottom. Last place. I'd shot 79. Bad times. Better news to report this time. So I came tied 12th. So I was playing in the Eastern Championship, North Texas PGA event. Tied 12, shot 1 under. So a 70. Was pretty happy with that. Meant to be a 2-day event. We were down in Tyler, Texas. So Tyler is about probably just under 2 hours. I want to say south of Dallas, but I actually think it's more across. I'm still very new to Texas. My brain can't fathom anything other than north or south. You can drive up or you can drive down. I think this one you drive down and a bit across. So if you're trying to get to Tyler, don't use this podcast. Please use whatever sat nav that you choose. But yeah, we played at Willowbrook Country Club. Really nice course. One of the best I have played in Texas. The layout was really fun. Quite undulating, which I really like. Condition was A plus. We had some real nasty weather the day before. Like here, they were having tornado. I think tornado watches literally across all of DFW and then all to the south. You know, so there was some pretty nasty weather. I think they were like having 80-mile-an-hour winds. You wouldn't have known in the course. So the greens were still firm. They were still fast. But then we got a lightning delay day 2, a little bit more rain, and basically we weren't going to get the field finished. So my first round counted, tied 12th. Always nice to shoot under par. Kind of what I think you can learn from this video is I really was not playing very well leading up. I can say and gratefully, I have been extremely busy at work. I've been doing a lot of coaching, but when I'm coaching, obviously I'm not spending much time on my own game. And then we had our member at the golf club that I work at, Brook Hollow. So that was kind of leading into the weekend before the event. So didn't really get to play a great deal. And I wasn't playing particularly well leading into that. So I've kind of not in a let's just maintain my good golf game. It was more of a case of my golf game isn't particularly good and I haven't really got much time to right the wrongs. So that's what I think you can kind of learn from this. So a few things that I did. One, with my limited time, I tried to play more holes than spending time on the range. I kind of probably felt like I needed some range work, but going into a tournament, I needed to have some holes under my belt. I tried to get in. I got a couple 9 holes in a couple of evenings last week. And one of them in particular, I really hit it poorly. I literally hit it sideways. But I think it was better like to just get out there. You know, I think sometimes you how do I put this? It feels like it's better to like just grind on the range and go, look, I need to create something. I think I used this analogy in a previous podcast, and it's one I use with my students. Is you know, the mechanic versus the driver. So like in motorsport, you do need a mechanic to build you a great car. But then you have to be able to pass it over to the driver, and you've got to let the driver take it around the track. in my situation here, I probably needed to spend more time in the garage. I needed to spend time with the mechanic, but with my limited time, it was like, look, I've almost got this car's a bit banged up, but at least I've got 4 tires on there and we don't have a flat. Let's just go out and see what we can do with it. So kind of trying to spend a little bit more time with the drive, with the driver, with the getting out on the course. I think that was probably wise. Hitting shots, one thing that I think is really important, and again, I appreciate not everybody has access to this, but when I'm hitting shots, trying to work out what my path is the path a positive or a negative? So positive being a draw, a negative being a fade. It's good information to know because then you know where to place the face. So if you're swinging out to the right, having a face feeling a little bit more open is going to allow you to play better golf. If you are naturally swinging to the left, a negative, you need that face closed. My golf game, I kind of like a fade, but I'm naturally swinging to the right at the minute. I'm making draw swings, and I'm kind of going with it. But I kind of have to, like I say, you have to kind of establish where you are. Kind of a week ago, and I've done a few things mechanically. There's things that I'm doing that didn't kind of fit the profile of swing I go into, so I use a body balancing exercise to make changes to my body to allow me to swing in the manner in which I want to swing. Kind of a detailed thing. I don't really want to talk about that today because I won't do it justice, and I don't want this thing to be too long. But anyway, I've been working on that, and like I said, I've been struggling, but I came up with quite a nice plan. I did the classic, and I think a lot of people can relate to what I'm about to say. I wasn't really when the swing feels nice, but I wasn't really controlling where the ball was going particularly well. And, even when I was getting good strikes, the ball wasn't necessarily going where I thought it would go. So I decided I would try and hit some push fades. So I hitting some push fades on the range, and I hit like 3 or 4 like stunning shots, real happy. So I went, right, that's what I'm going to do. And going back to what I just said, luckily I kind of tried it on the golf course, and it really didn't work, and it was a little bit, I was almost trying to force a plan. I think sometimes with golf, we are looking for the secret, and there is no secret, but sometimes, and especially when you're not playing particularly well, you're a little bit vulnerable. And rather than just trying to kind of go, look, these are the tools I have, let's see what I can do, we try and almost go, oh, well, with these tools, why don't I build this? And we try and do something a little bit almost out of the ordinary, thinking that it's going to give us, I joke that fairway finder. I just won't miss any fairways if I do that. The nature of golf isn't really that, especially when you're struggling a bit. So I thought I had come to like the solution. And remember, 4 great shots on the range. How is it going to visually work for you on the course? Plus 4 is a very small sample size. Likelihood is I just hit a couple nice ones. Probably trying a little too hard. Probably a little bit stressed on the range because I didn't like what I was hitting. Probably let me relax and I hit 2 more. And like I said, I come back the next day and that really wasn't working. If I hadn't gone on the golf course, so gone, I'll just do some block practice. Let's just keep hitting these shots. I think my tournament round would have gone not how it went. So working out, I'm hitting a draw at the minute. I'm swinging like 3, 4, 5 to the right, positive. So at least I knew, look, let's get the face pointing a little bit more to the right, and then I could then try and hit some shots. So that was a big one. I got into the practice round. So, and this is true, If you saw my first 2-3 holes of my practice round on Sunday, you wouldn't have thought a 70 was coming the next day. It was all over the place. Hit a rocket snap hook out of bounds on the second hole, which turned out not to be the second hole. Give you a little story. We went from the first hole. The fifth hole was behind the green, and the second kind of went back up in the other direction. We went onto the wrong hole. I'm using a Straka line. I got a yardage book, so we play a couple, and I then get on a par 4, and I look, and I'm like, this isn't the hole. Like, when did they put the bunkers? And then I'm looking further, and I'm like, there's no way this is the hole. And the cart path is here, and then we call the guy in the shop, and we're kind of explaining it, and he's got no idea what we're on about. So we're like, oh, this guy in the shop he can't have worked it for very long. He's kind of clueless. There was someone clueless in the conversation, but it was not the guy in the shop. It was us. We'd gone the completely wrong place. So we were like, look, you go from the third. Where's the fourth? The path doesn't go up there. Like, the routing seemed weird. Luckily, there were some members nearby, and we said, oh, look, which one of these is the fourth? I think it was. You know, we just finished what we thought was the third. They're like, guys, neither of them are. So anyway, I digress. So I'm struggling. But what I had done in the week, and I'm very, very fortunate, I have spent a lot of time and energy on kind of mindset training. You know, predominantly done this for my coaching. You know, I'm a NLP, a neuro-linguistic programming master professional. I use flow code, and I use mental golf type. So these are kind of my three. I did do sports psychology as one of my parts of my sports science degree. And although I have a biomechanics master's, it was underpinned in a lot of psychology. Like, the psychology was like the framework. And then I was looking at the swings, which was the biomechanics. So always been very interested in psychology. Done a lot of mindset training. Kind of spoke to John at Mental Golf Type in the week, and a lot of people do well not being super focused on the hole. Like, not being like, so when you hear aim small, miss small, that does work for a lot of people, but it doesn't work for everybody. So for me, when I really try and zone in and go, look, so like driver, for example, I think driver is the best example. I'm going to look at like this small strip in the middle of the fairway. It actually makes me play worse. I do better just putting out almost goalposts or like a fairway. Like, look, these are the boundaries of the fairway. Let's just hit it between those goals. Let's kick through the goal, rather than trying to get it super precise. So aim small, miss small doesn't work for everybody. I had a conversation with John at Mental Golf Type, and I said, look, I get it, but I'm kind of setting my goal, you know, and then I feel like I'm then still getting a little too like focused through the goal. And he said you almost need to have like when you look out, you know, you need to have a kind of a soft perception. That clicked straight away because I had been speaking to Hallam at Flow Code, and he had done a session about that very thing. So what can happen with focus, and think about it. So if you try to zone in too much, it actually creates or can create a stress response. Because think about it, when you're stressed, you tend to get tunnel vision. It's one of the symptoms of, you know, getting stressed or fight or flight. So sometimes by over focusing, you end up not doing particularly well. You actually put yourself into a stress situation. So what I did here is I've tried to implement this out on the golf courses, trying to have more of a soft focus when I'm kind of looking out to my target. Again, my personality likes to be kind of target side, so really just kind of seeing the golf ball go out. So I really tried to focus on kind of the start line, seeing the opportunity, not so much worrying about where the ball is going to finish, but more about how it's going to fly into the sky. So seeing it kind of go up to its apex and then not really worrying about it after that. Can also kind of give you a feeling of having a bit more control, control of the situation. I think sometimes golf can be quite stressful because, we know we're trying to be pretty precise, and then trying to be precise kind of overwhelms us, and then we make bad swings. The big thing with, mindset training, psychology, is it's always going to show up in your mechanics because you hit the ball with your swing. So things resonating in the background can kind of cause an issue. So I was really working on that. The other thing, so like I said, I started my practice round really poorly with a driver. It was going sideways, and it didn't drive it particularly well the day before. After the member, I went out and played 9 holes, and really wasn't feeling too good. Decided to make a switch. So yes, it's okay to go, look, I'm just going to use with what I've got, but sometimes you go, look, what I got ain't going to get me very far. So with my driver, I got a TaylorMade QI 35. I actually have an 8-degree dot. I had the heavier weight in the back. I moved it into the front, and then I said with the irons I was trying to hit that push fade. Wasn't working very well with the irons, but driver, because the ball is forward, the path tends to kind of start going more left than the iron. So it was actually easier for me to kind of feel like I'm just going to kind of see a fade. So I did with the driver exactly what I said I was doing with the irons, kind of seeing the start line. And I was just trying to kind of feeling like I was holding it off a little bit. By changing the weights around, so by lowering if you put the heavier weight in the front, it lowers the spin. So I had kind of been trying to hit that same draw shape, and I was finding the ball, I get the miss on my driver is a toe strike as well, so trying to overdraw it, maybe having a bit less spin, not enough spin, toe it, losing it on the left. So I actually changed my driver so it was spinning even less, but that gave me permission to kind of try and see a different shape. So one thing like this is kind of, a driver fitting tip is if you set your driver up so it's optimal and you love it, the likelihood is, if you've set it up for a little bit of a fade, like I'm saying here, I've made the fit slightly harsher so I could fully commit to the fade. If there was a hole that needed a draw, I've got a mini driver in the bag, or I've got a hybrid, I've got to use another club. I can't just now, I'll just do that, because there's going to be no tolerance. The likelihood is it's going to drop out the sky anyway. But yeah, giving myself the chance to see the shots really, really changed. And then the great news with the practice round, it was very rough at the beginning, and I kind of just stuck in there, didn't panic. Like I said, I was very clear on what I was trying to do, like how I was trying to perform. Then I had that little change of strategy with the driver. My game started to come to me. I played some really nice golf. Played some really nice golf for the last few holes. Swing started to feel good, started to relax. I hit the par 5 and 2. And comment down below on this one. So in a practice round, so I had like a 12-footer for eagle. I actually knocked it away because it's like, look, it's nice to say you had an eagle, but the likelihood of you then eagling it tomorrow in the tournament is unlikely. So, I dragged it away, and then I just worked on my putting to actually like get a feel for the greens. Because I hadn't been playing very well, I actually had a couple where I kind of did go, look, let's see if I can make a birdie, try to get the confidence up. But rule of thumb, like I said, I hit a great shot, I dragged it, rolled it, I'm like, look, that would be a guaranteed birdie. But anyway, I built my way into that practice round, so then I started to get some good feels. Did a great warm up. Again, that's a great topic for another day. Did a great warm up. The both warming up the mind and warming up the body. And then went out with a real good attitude. Kind of in a playful mindset. It's I'm lucky to be out here. Grateful I've been busy coaching, and let's just see what happens. I hit a couple. I fatted a 9-iron. Probably needed 3 buckets of sand to get it in. I just horrible shot, but it got up by the green. I got it up and down. Something that I'm starting to think about it, and I want to use this example, and I'll finish with this. So we got US Open this week. Scotty Scheffler Memorial, dominant. Scotty is playing Tiger-esque, like Tiger Prime. Scotty is just on another level at the minute. But the shot everyone kept showing was that 7-wood he hit out of the back of the bunker. He hit this like awesome shot out of a troublesome situation. Think about it. If you never hit a bad shot, you never get a chance to do and enjoy a cool shot like that. So I hit a couple early on. I got it up and down. I totally short-sighted it. And when I was younger, I would have been so angry with the miss, I would have probably not hit a great shot. And look, here's what it is. I then played this delicate little, like, flop. I was on a slope like this, so I just kind of flopped it in front of me, and it trickled down to 4 feet, hold the putt. Real good stuff. Bogey-free front 9. So 2 under I was. I bogeyed the par 5 on the back 9, trying to do the right thing. It happens. It happens. I was like, oh, do you play aggressive, go at the green? I was trying to get it back in play, and I didn't pull the shot off, hit it in the hazard. Had to drop out, made a bogey. I bogeyed 17, which was a really hard hole, and then I hit it to like a foot on 18 to shoot 1 under. And you just go, look, it's good. And I like how I think sometimes you just have to let your game organically come to you. Like if you have some time constraints, you're not getting to practice or not get to practice as much as you usually do. You go, look, it's fine. Just use what you got. See what it is. And worst case, you go, look, I haven't been able to play. So I should be grateful that I'm out here playing. And if I haven't put in as much work as I would have liked, and that's not, sometimes life gets in the way, it's actually not an option. You go, look, it's nice being out here. And you kind of take that attitude. Like I said, I started to behave in a manner in which I know my personality likes. When you do it to personality, that's usually very stable, a very stable way to do it. It's kind of hardwired. It doesn't change through time. I said my draw and my fade changes through time. Personality doesn't. So yes, I wasn't playing great, but when you're not playing great, you stress yourself out. Play and perform, make decisions, choose visual aspects that suit your personality. It's going to give you opportunity, pull you out. I said that playful mindset. Look, I'm just going to go out and have fun. All of a sudden, those things, I gave myself an opportunity for my game to come to me. It did. A T12 I'm very happy with. I've got an event next week. I've then got sectional championships the week after, which is going to be at PGA Frisco. On their other course, I've played their championship course where the KPMG is next week. It's their other course. I've only heard good things, so I'm going to have a practice round there. Have that. So I've got some nice golf coming up. I went down to this event thinking, look, let's just try and get some rust off. Let's see where the game is. Let's see where the problems are. Then we'll fix it for these other ones. Like I said, so I went out there with a good attitude, did things that were in my control. A T12, very happy with. Always happy to shoot under par. And now let's grow off of this. And let's see if I can get better. Let's get in the top 10 or beyond. Let's top 5, top 3. Is he going to say it? let's go for the win. So thanks for watching. I'm a little bit tired, so I know it's a little bit rambly, but I wanted to get this out. There is hope, people. There is hope, you know, and we get crazy busy, but it's a great time to be out on the golf course. Regardless, like Willowbrook was sensational, layout, condition, but I do feel like whenever you just get to play any golf course, be out there, especially if you're with your friends, it's a good time. So enjoy it, be grateful, and as always, stay happy, stay safe. Hope to catch you soon.